You've heard about seahorses, sure everybody has. Little curly critters in the water and the glass. But I'm docked at a station on the edge of the reach, and a fella says, you wanna see something? Come down to Bay 13. And I follow him down, and the airlock opens wide, and there's a herd of them, a herd running on the solar wind outside. Space horses, running on the nothing like it's solid ground. Space horses, names like nebulas and hooves that don't make sound. They're galloping on starlight and they don't need a road. Space horses, the most beautiful thing I've ever been shown. They're bigger than my ship, did I mention that? Each one's the size of a freighter, maybe more. And their hides are every color I've got a name for, and a couple I ain't seen before. Silver like a comet tail and blue like deep space ice, and one's got spots like little galaxies scattered down her side. And they run, Lord, they run, with their heads up and their tails out wide, like a streak of living light across the black. Space horses, running on the nothing like it's solid ground. Space horses, manes like nebulas and hooves that don't make sound. They're galloping on starlight and they don't need a road. Space horses, ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum. I didn't know the universe had these in stock. The fella at the station says they're wild. Can't catch 'em, can't ride 'em, can't slow 'em down. They run from one system to the next, like the whole galaxy's their paddock, and the stars are just the fence around the town. And I say, has anybody tried to ride one? And he looks at me like son, and I say, following this herd until my fuel runs out. And the little one at the back, she turned and looked at me, right through the cockpit glass, with eyes like binary stars. And I swear she was saying, keep up, mammal, keep up if you can. And the petrol shook and hummed, and I punched it and we ran with the space horses for 11 minutes flat before they left us like we're standing still. And my ship sighed, and I sighed, and the fella on the radio said, told you so. But oh, those 11 minutes, those were the best 11 minutes I have ever known. Space horses, running on the starlight, running on the nothing, running on the everything. Space horses. Has anybody tried to ride one? Yeah, I know. But look at 'em.